taken down. NASA planes take to the skies, not only one, but two. A UFO taken down above Alaska, a UFO taken down above Canada. Something enters the atmosphere above Montana. Part of Montana declared basically a no-fly zone for a while by the DOD. A hovercraft lands on Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. A NASA plane takes to the sky, patrolling above the East Coast, as you're going to see here in just a moment. A USAF stratotanker that I showed you guys at the beginning of this video doing aerial recon above northern Lake Michigan. Not only one, but two planes above Lake Michigan. And then they declared basically a no-fly zone for a while above Lake Michigan. And now we're going to get right to some of the video footage. Here we go. Is something big going on? It sure looks that way. This is of some sort of a convoy. Don't know exactly where. I'm thinking either Wyoming, quite possibly Montana. Right now, guys, I'm not 100% sure. I tried to look at this license plate, and I made a comparison that I'm going to show you guys in this video. It's as close as I could get. It's a little bit out of focus, but they pulled over to the side of the road because of this that was coming their way. It was being escorted, this object right here on the back of this truck. Other than that, I don't know anything about it, and I don't want to assume anything. It's just something unique. Almost looks like a dome, maybe a saucer on the back of that truck. But I tried to compare the license plate with a version of the Wyoming license plate, and that to me looked like the closest version of that plate right there. So I think this observation, the terrain even looks like it too, could possibly have been in Wyoming. And this next segment was an observation made above Montana from February 11th of 2023, Oscar G. And what this looks like is space debris, but it almost appears to be going up. You're going to see trails behind these various objects in the sky, behind these objects moving in an upward direction. See that right there? How they appear to be going up instead of down. So not quite sure what we've got going on there, but another unusual observation, this time in the sky above Montana. Next, we're going to hear from a pilot talking to the control tower as he spotted something above his aircraft. Not sure where he's flying, but we're going to listen to him explain to what he just saw from his airplane at about 40,000 feet as he's talking to ground control.
Targets up here, we just had something go right over the top of us that, I hate to say this, looked like a long cylindrical object that almost looked like a cruise missile type of thing moving really fast that went right over the top of us.
And that was a pilot talking to ground control. This is a recent news briefing from the Pentagon, and they're talking about all of these unusual observations that are being made in the sky, primarily above North America. Here we go.
Everyone, thanks very much for your patience while we were delayed a little bit. I have a few things to talk about up top, and then we'll get right to your questions. So first of all, to add to information already provided earlier by the White House, at the direction of the President of the United States, fighter aircraft assigned to U.S. Northern Command successfully took down a high-altitude airborne object off the northern coast of Alaska at 1:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today, within U.S. sovereign airspace over U.S. territorial water. On February 9, North American Aerospace Defense Command detected an object on ground radar and further investigated and identified the object using fighter aircraft. The object was flying at an altitude of 40,000 feet and posed a reasonable threat to the safety of civilian flight. U.S. Northern Command is beginning recovery operations now. U.S. Northern Command's Alaska Command coordinated the operation with assistance from the Alaska Air National Guard, Federal Aviation Administration, and the Federal Bureau of Investigation. We have no further details about the object at this time, including any description of its capabilities, purpose, or origin. The object was about the size of a small car, so not similar in size or shape to the high-altitude surveillance balloon that was taken down off the coast of South Carolina on February 4.
So that was a briefing from the Pentagon talking about unusual, unknown, unidentifiable, however you want to describe them, unknown objects in the skies above North America. This next segment goes back to February the 5th, and this is when I noticed two NASA planes over here at Flight Radar 24, plane over here on the left, plane over here on the right. They go up into the Ottawa area of Canada, and they do recon up here for several hours as if they're looking for something. This is one of the planes right here. It was up there for probably 6 hours doing recon, and this is the flight path of the airplane. You can see the circles it made where it would circle there, here, down here. And again, this was on February the 5th. This plane was up there for several hours. Today, February the 12th, noticed another NASA plane, this time off the east coast of the United States, just north of where the hovercraft made landfall in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. This plane right here is flying at an altitude of 60,000 feet. Airplanes typically fly at around 39, 40, maybe 41,000 feet, sometimes a little bit higher, but rarely do they ever get up to 60,000 feet, especially commercial aircraft. This plane here was flying the entire flight, or the majority of the flight, at 60,000 feet. And this next segment is of the hovercraft making landfall on Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And this would be south of where the NASA plane was flying recon earlier, just north of this location here. Not sure if these two are related in any way, but this may have been looking for something in the ocean, and the plane may have been looking for something up higher. I don't know. The plane was up at 60,000 feet. Another segment from February 12th of 2023 over here at Flight Radar, and this is the Stratotanker that's doing recon up in the northern part of Lake Michigan. And not only is there one plane up here, but there are two planes up here. And this area right here was currently closed at the time I made this map. So this plane was flying exclusively in this location right here. And I've got a video I'm going to share with you guys from this area right here. A young lady noticed something in the nighttime sky that she couldn't identify. And she lives up in this area. And she said this thing just looked out of place. And here's a few examples of things recently seen in the nighttime sky. North sky object. This was video taken by Wes A. from Texas on 2/9 of 2023. He was looking in the north sky for the comet, and he was using a telescope. So this footage right here was taken through a telescope. This is some sort of an unknown object in the northern sky. Unusual video footage sent in by Wes. The video was taken out of Texas, and again, that's of the northern sky. And this next segment was a video taken by Mary Hall from the International Space Station. You're going to see an object tumbling in the sky, high in the sky, above planet Earth on the dark side of the Earth. Watch this object right here. We're going to zoom in real close. You're going to see this is clearly some sort of a fairly large object that's high enough up in the sky to where it's able to reflect sunlight on the dark side of the Earth. This thing is clearly some sort of an object that is tumbling in the sky above Earth, noticed by Mary Hall from the International Space Station. I have more footage here from the International Space Station by Frank R. This footage is from 2/8 of 2023, and here we go. Right here, I'm zoomed in on the location of the International Space Station at the time of this video recording. And it was out above the Argentine Sea. So what you're about to see here is not land. This is what came into the field of view, and that's what compelled Frank to take this video. Something that looks like a fleet of lights that was out in the ocean. I mean, if those are ships, those are really, really big ships. You got to keep in mind that the ISS is 250 miles above the Earth, and I don't think ships would be traveling this close together. Those are almost on top of each other. Don't know what these are and don't claim to know. Just yet another unusual observation from the International Space Station. There has been a boatload of activity above planet Earth, and right here you can see where the space station was at. It was nowhere near land. It was out above water at the time these things right here, whatever they are, were observed. Good observation by Frank. This next segment comes from Scotland, South Dakota, of an unusual object in the nighttime sky. Video by Athena from January 25th of 2023. You're going to see this one and yet another one very similar to this one in the northern part of the United States, where there are currently aircraft doing some sort of recon missions, like they're up there looking for something, as they're talking about unidentified objects being spotted in the sky. And this next segment is up in the North Lake Michigan area, New Holstein, Wisconsin. Video footage by Priscilla. And this is almost exactly where this plane has been doing recon here in the last 2 or 3 hours. Here we go.
It's the darndest thing. We finally get to see something that doesn't belong. It's red and green and it flashes. There's no sound.
Keep in mind, she lives up here in this area and has never seen anything like that in the nighttime sky. And once again, that's where planes are currently doing recon right now as I do this video. And I've got two more examples of objects, much like this one here. You just saw this one out of San Antonio, Texas by Tracy from January 13th of 2023. Just another example of an unusual object in the sky, guys. I've got dozens and dozens to share with you guys. This is heavily zoomed in. This object was a great distance away, and this one was out of southeast San Antonio, Texas, and another one from the southern part of the United States by CJ out of Tucson, Arizona from February the 11th of 2023. Said this thing here looked completely out of place, had never seen anything like it, much like the viewers from the northern part of the United States up by Lake Michigan. They too had never seen anything like what they were viewing. I'm going to show you guys a quick example of the Starlink. You guys have all by now seen at least video footage of what these things look like. This was taken by Gary and Kimberly from Texas. The reason I'm showing you this is because of a photo of something in the sky that resembles the Starlink that I got today that doesn't necessarily look like the Starlink. I don't know what's going on. I'm going to leave it up to you guys to decide, and here we go. This was sent in by Danette S. from 2 nights ago, February 10th of 2023, out of Lander, Wyoming. What is that? Looks like a gigantic tower in the sky, but that's not a tower. It kind of looks like a version of the Starlink. This thing here just looks way bigger than a typical Starlink satellite train like you see right here, and we've all seen videos. I've actually seen them twice myself, and they did not look like that. Danette S., once again, out of Lander, Wyoming, sent in this photo, and it's about 48 hours old. Great job, guys. Keep the photos and videos coming over here to the homepage of the website. Today's feature photo was sent in by Polenta out of Sacramento, California, who has got a hawkish eye for the sky. She couldn't help but notice this big jumbo halo in the sky above Sacramento, California. If you guys have any photos you'd like to share, you can send those to reports at MrMBB333.com. If you guys have any videos you'd like to share that won't attach to the email for whatever reason, come over here to the homepage of the website, click on this red banner that says Have a Large Video. Simply drag and drop your video into the red tab. Please include your first name, date, and location, and I'll take it from there. Thanks for watching. Have a super day, and be safe out there.